Good morning. I am going to talk to you today a little bit about our math curriculum because we are coming to the end of another year of using teaching textbooks for math. Since we switched over several years ago, it has, I've been ever grateful. Let me just say that. I am not naturally skilled in teaching math. This is something that I was a little apprehensive about with homeschooling, and teaching textbooks has made it easy for me, and so I'm grateful. So part of the reason that I wanted to share this with you today is because I get to do a giveaway for you guys. Teaching Textbooks is giving away 1 year, this is really exciting, of their family subscription. So if you win, you don't just get teaching textbooks for one of your kids, you would get it for all of your kids, because you would win the family subscription for a full year. So the way to enter this giveaway is to go right underneath this video to the link that will take you to Rafflecopter, and you can enter there. And there's multiple options for entering if you would like more entries, or you can just enter, at the basic level. So I'm very excited and thankful that they are giving that to you guys, because this program has been such a blessing for us. I know it has been a blessing for many of you, and perhaps some of you who are new to homeschooling or in a math rut like we were. Maybe you're ready for a change. So let me just briefly go through some of the things that I like about it. So we are using the Teaching Textbooks 4.0, which is an online version. One thing that I really appreciate about, since they switched to the 4.0 this year, is the accessibility. So my kids can do their math on the computer. They can do it on our iPad, on a tablet, even on my phone, Kindle Fire. There's just so many ways that you just download the app for their level. So if they're in level 4, you would just get level 4, and they could do it across the board, switching around on any of those devices. I also have appreciated something else that they started this year, which is that you can do it offline. So you only have to connect to the internet, once a week, depends how often you do math. And it will have several of the lessons and the teacher videos and everything downloaded for the next few lessons, so that you don't have to constantly be connected to the internet, which we appreciate being out here in the country. Teaching Textbooks, as far as I know, is the only math curriculum that does all the teaching and all the grading. So I consider myself more of a helper role for my kids. I come alongside of them. For my oldest, she's just completing pre-algebra this year, and so there's been things that we had to sit side by side and watch the video together and talk it out together. So that is the role that I am in now, instead of trying to be in a role of explaining everything to my kids, which I just wasn't able to do. And so that's why I really appreciate, for every single problem there is a teacher video available for every single problem. That's just amazing for me. So when your kids log on to their teaching textbooks, which I will show you in a moment because I'm going to have my kids walk you through some things, but your child will listen to a lecture that will explain whatever new thing they're being taught, and then they will go into the problems for that day. There are practice problems, which I kind of let my kids skip through the practice problems. If they don't want to do it, that's fine. And then there's all of the lesson problems. Now, the thing that is really great is that when they get toward kind of the end of all the lesson problems, they'll be working on the new concepts that they just learned. And so you'll see, maybe it'll say on problem 17, there might be a little, A in front of that, problem 17. And it means that it links back to practice problem A, which was at the beginning of that set. And so if they're kind of struggling a little bit, they can go watch the entire explanation of how practice A was done, and then they're like, oh yeah, that triggers it. And so they can go back to, problem 17 and have help completing it. So there's all kinds of things like that to help your child be successful. So they have it, they call it safety nets, is what they have put in place to make the program more successful for the student to use, and not so much dependent on you, on mom, or whoever else walking through it. So their safety nets is that they provide hints. So you have the option to turn this off if you wouldn't want it, but they will frequently have hints that pop up when a child gets to a new problem. Just a little reminder, what was that formula? So, when they learn something new, then a little hint will pop up for a while about that. Or what was that thing that I was supposed to, what order was I supposed to put this in, those will occasionally pop up as hints, which is very helpful. Then they have second chances, which again, in the parent control, you have the option to turn all of these features on and off. So you are totally in control of how the program looks for your child. But they do have second chances, which is really helpful, especially for those silly mistakes, like when kids get into a lot of multiplication and they might miss one number, then the second chance will allow them to look back through it and do it again and still get the problem right. They also have step-by-step solutions. So they'll have, like I said with the videos, they'll show the child if they really are stumped and they absolutely could not figure it out. There is a little video to go with it that will show the guy doing the narrative for teaching textbooks. They will show him exactly working out the problem step by step so your child can watch it being done. And if you wanted to, as a parent, in your parent controls, you can completely wipe out wrong answers. You could even wipe out entire lessons and let them redo it if you felt like that was necessary. So you have that control. Then they have, this is amazing, they actually have a free tutor hotline. So especially, you're not going to need this in the younger grades, but when you get up into the upper level math, if there is a concept that you are all struggling with, you've gone through the ebook because there's a free online ebook that explains everything, you've done the videos, you've looked at the problems and you still are just completely confused, there is a number that you can reach an in-person tutor. You can just call and they can work through with you. They can see, what you're seeing. It's very, very helpful service that's offered free for anybody who has a teaching textbooks subscription. Okay, so these are some of my favorite things from a parent perspective. The one that I really need to emphasize is that I don't do any grading to make sure that my kids are on track. This was one of the biggest issues that I was having with the program we had before, is that it was a paper workbook that they would fill out, and sometimes they would get to a full page of problems or 2 or 3 pages of problems done and be doing something incorrectly. And because I didn't have the time, I have 8 children, I can't sit there grade everything as soon as they're doing it to keep them on track. And so they would get through all of that doing it wrong, and then I would find out, and it resulted in a lot of disappointed tears, realizing like, okay, now what? Do I go back and do all of those again? I got it in my head doing something wrong or whatever it may be. So that is something that I really appreciate about teaching textbooks, is they know immediately if they have a problem, right or wrong, and they have help of figuring it out. So they're not going forward with learning new math concepts while having incorrect thinking about something that they've learned. So I really appreciate that. Okay, but I'm gonna stop talking now and I'm going to show you my kids. So they are finishing up this year's level. You can start, of course, whenever you want, but we like to take the springtime off instead of summer because we like to be outside. So we are finishing up. The kids have just a couple lessons left before they're done with their levels. Perfect timing for baby's arrival. And I'm going to let them share with you some of the things that they like about the Teaching Textbooks 4.0. Samuel is 7 years old, and this was his first year with teaching textbooks. He was absolutely so excited to start because that's what the older kids did, and he couldn't wait to be 7. Actually, I think you probably hadn't turned 7 yet. You were just about to turn 7 when you started. And he couldn't wait to be able to start it. And Samuel is mathematically minded, so this has been a great fit for him this year. He's done most of it completely on his own. I haven't really had to help him a whole lot. And today's a big day because he's finishing his very last lesson. Now in Math 3, which is what Samuel is in, and by the way, the levels do not necessarily correspond with grade levels. So it doesn't mean he's in 3rd grade at age 7. It just means that he's in Math 3, which is the first teaching textbooks level there is. So you have to know your child and when it's appropriate for them to start. And they do have like placement tests and things on their website so that you can kind of figure out what is on each each level. So Samuel, could you kind of flip through some of the problems here just so they could see? So this is the very last, it's a quiz at the end, actually.
There's quizzes and lessons. Lessons, they have lecture, which is like something that tells you like, this is how you do this, or divide or something, which I just started dividing about 5 lessons ago.
Okay.
And quizzes, they don't have lecture.
They don't have lecture, they just jump into the problem. So this is a quiz. So it's kind of an overview of a lot of things. And so let's turn down the sound for a minute while we go through, or else we're going to hear him talking over and over. Let's just skip through so that parents can see a little bit of the very end.
Half past 8.
Okay, you don't have to do it right now.
Okay.
You could just flip through and show us, yeah. So you can see this is kind of a summary of the things that he's been learning in the last couple weeks.
My favorite guy is Turbo Penguin.
Oh, is the penguin?
It comes with the background. That's
Yeah, that's really exciting.
What papers? If you pick a paper, it doesn't come with a bit, buddy.
That's a separate thing. Samuel is very self-motivated, and so he pretty much gets up and does his math on his own every day. And the thing that I've really appreciated is that because they have those lectures talking him through things, he can just do it. He doesn't need me to explain anything to him. He listens to the lecture, and he moves on through, right? So congratulations, Samuel, with your first year of teaching textbooks. So proud of you. Alrighty, Isabella is finishing up pre-algebra. She's on her last lesson. And so what we wanted to talk to you about really quickly is the reality of teaching algebraic concepts to a kid when you struggle with it yourself. And that's why this program has been helpful for me.
Wait, we're not even on the...
Because there's multiple ways to figure out
Yeah, here, let me get to...
something. So what are the things we can do, Bella, when we learn a new concept? First, you listen to it on the lecture. So that's one way.
2, you could, I just hit home.
There's hints
Yeah, there's hints you can
to
like,
kind of help you. Like she was
click
just
on the
about to
head.
do a problem and couldn't remember what in the world am I supposed to do, and the hint was the formula.
Yeah. I don't usually use the hints because I, by that time, like, have it memorized.
But they're there if you need them.
Yeah, occasionally. I
Like
usually
this.
use it. Or, like, they'll say D and, like they'll say, like, a lowercase d, like, next to, like, the number problem it is. And it means, like, go to practice D, and it'll have a simpler, like, problem that's like it.
Right, with different
like,
numbers, but pretty
yeah.
much the same. So you
Yeah,
can
it
watch
is.
them do it.
It's loading now.
And then, oh, it's loading right now. That's okay. They also have an ebook that you could use. They have, of course, I've talked about the
And then if
tutor
you get it
line, which
wrong-
we have not.
If you get it wrong,
We haven't called the tutor line yet. We've just figured it out so far, haven't we?
if you get it wrong, well, we've used Google before.
Right, to look up different formulas of how to do things, yeah.
If you get it wrong, then you can hit, you know, they give you second chances, like try again or see the answer if you don't want to do a second chance. And then if you hit try again and you get it wrong again, then you can hit see solution. And it will like, step by step, oh, there you go. That's my last one.
The final.
It'll step by step, like that's
The final one. Yes, it will step by step explain to you exactly how to do it.
oh, it's the test.
You know something that I learned recently that we didn't even know is that the ebook is searchable. So it used to just be the book, but you couldn't type in like distance formula and it would take you there, but they've made it searchable so that you can get on the ebook.
That is helpful.
Yeah, that is, and we can look up a specific
Because
thing.
there's like 139 lessons, not counting quizzes.
Right. It's a lot of
17
information.
quizzes.
I wanted to say, this is not about you necessarily, Bella, but parents can also have their students' progress emailed to them daily. So I can get a daily email saying how she did or, you know, whatever, all the details. Then I know exactly, which I'm pretty present. We do all our math and everything right here at the table, right, with the toddlers painting rocks and all that. But if you weren't in that situation necessarily and you just wanted an email update, painting wooden eggs, yeah, then I can get a daily email report for each of my kids that shows exactly what happened that day. So I'm grateful for this, and as we move into algebra next year, I'm grateful that we are not on our own with just a piece of paper or a textbook and we're trying to figure things out, because I think I probably would be crying in a corner. Elsie, so one of your favorite parts of teaching textbook was
the buddies.
I should say is the buddies.
There's all these buddies. So let's say the kitten, I want the kitten, and then there'll be the kitten. But let's say I want this monster, and then there'll be the monster with a background.
So do you choose the background or the buddy, or you
just choose the buddy and there's a background.
It has a background with it.
But it is animated. If you don't like them moving around, you can just go to papers and pick any. And if you don't like any of the papers, you could just simply... it takes a while to load up. You just simply go down here, I think it is. You could just do teaching textbook wallpaper, which is
so that would be
boring.
if you want nothing. Elsie is an artistic human, and so having something interesting to look at in the background, I think that's something you really appreciate. And it breaks it up for her. Sometimes she will stop and do switch her buddies out to give her brain a little break from the math that she's working on. So there's two ways to do the problems. They have a scratch pad that you can use if you want.
Oh.
And we actually have stylus pens that we bought that kids can use if they don't want to use their fingers. Or you can write it out on paper, or a dry erase board is something that we use a lot at our house. Okay, so teaching textbooks can be done on any device, and we do have computers. However, Silas is doing his lesson today on my phone. Teeny tiny little phone. Silas, what's your favorite device to do math on? The iPad. That seems to be the popular one.
It's big and you can touch the screen.
Yeah, but not as big as a computer, so you can still snuggle on the couch on a cold day. Yeah, so Silas is about to finish level 6, right?
6.
Yep, he's about to finish that. And then he is going to be getting a math break for a couple months. Are you excited about that, Silas? Or are you just so sad because you won't have teaching textbooks for a few months? You're excited, okay.
Math is kind of boring.
But is it more boring with teaching textbooks or with the program we used to use?
It's more boring the other way.
The other way that we used to use, yeah. We've enjoyed our years with teaching textbooks so far. One thing that I do is I let my kids have a multiplication chart for problems they get stumped on. And I have found, when thinking about my older kids who've done this, that over time kids memorize these so painlessly because they're seeing the right answer over and over and over. Okay, so I do have one more kid who does teaching textbooks, and that's Leo, but he is not up here. He actually does most of his math, all his schoolwork with Jason, who does his work from home down in our cabin. So he's in a different area down in the woods, but it's the same story. He's really doing great. He will be in pre-algebra next year. And I think he has one lesson left and he's finished. And we're going to take a little break till after baby comes. So if you have any questions about teaching textbooks, feel free to ask in the comments below and we can chat there. And don't forget to go enter the giveaway if this is something that could bless your family, if you are considering doing teaching textbooks next year, or if you're already a teaching textbook user. Just go down to that Rafflecopter link and enter in the giveaway. I will leave it open for 2 weeks, and then I will be choosing a winner and notifying you through the information. I think you put your email in there on the Rafflecopter. So good luck. And also, I would be remiss if I forgot to mention that you can try out teaching textbooks for free. So just go to their website. I will put the link in the description box below. You can sign up for a free trial of any level. So they'll give you the first, I can't remember, maybe is it 15 lessons free that you can go in and try them out. They have placement tests so that you can kind of try to figure out where your child would be if you're new jumping in. It has been such a blessing for our family these past years, and I'm grateful. We're going to keep with it. We have no intention of leaving teaching textbooks because I don't want to strike out with math on my own. So we're glad to have them holding our hand through this topic. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will check with you guys very soon.